as a binky for many Republicans in the Senate.
Right. I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that a lot. So I want to note that
moment.
I
might overuse that word, but yes.
I want to note that moment. But what it means, I think, is significant here. And another point you were making is that this could have a ripple effect into the president's survival, frankly. It could. Overall, into the Russia investigation. All of this stuff might be connected because Republican support may be wavering.
Correct. Look, we're at a critical moment. The number of conservatives who I have talked to in the last day who worked on the campaign, who supported the president, who now say, you know what, I regret doing that. This was a mistake. This administration is off the rails. All of these investigations that are coming to a head are going to be a huge problem. They are disgusted, for lack of a better word, with what they have seen out of the details that came out of Michael Cohen's plea deal. All of that is going to keep going. That's not abating. That's going to actually intensify as we get into the year. And it takes 20 senators to vote in favor of impeachment, 20 Republican senators to vote in favor of impeachment. This could be a critical moment. It also could not be. The president has been to the precipice before and has pulled back, but I think this one might be different.
Maggie, because the time-space continuum means nothing to me anymore, I think it was yesterday morning that you were on. And it appeared...
It was.
Oh, okay, thank you. And it appeared then, correct me if I'm wrong, that President Trump had sort of acquiesced to what was going to happen. In order to avoid a government shutdown, he even tweeted, well, I'll get my border wall funding somewhere. He understood that Mitch McConnell, I guess, had worked hard to put together this clean, continuing resolution. Then something happened, and everything blew up. And now the government may shut down at midnight tonight. What happened after 9 a.m. yesterday morning?
Well, what happened was actually just more fallout from what had happened about 14 hours earlier, which was Ann Coulter, the conservative commentator, saying that he will either not survive his term or get reelected. He unfollowed her off of Twitter soon after that. Mark Meadows, co-chair of the House Freedom Caucus, who has been a staunch ally of the president, made very clear publicly that the president was going to face blowback with his Republican base, the base that has stuck with him, the base that the president is referred to as the voters who would stick with him even if he shot someone on Fifth Avenue. They're running out of patience for his not delivering on what he has said is a bedrock promise and moving away from it. Whether his promise of a wall was realistic or not during a campaign, whether he even believed in it himself. He knew that his supporters did, and it became a big symbol. He started getting blowback, as I mentioned before, from people like Rush Limbaugh. I was not being sarcastic. He had a conversation, according to Rush Limbaugh, with Limbaugh yesterday where he reassured him after Limbaugh had been really critical. So that's what happened. This president is aware that if his base starts to lose him, that is when the impeachment issue that we talked about before, if you assume that House Democrats are potentially going to go ahead with that and that the Senate will then have to vote on it, that if he loses his base, then he really doesn't have anything. And he has always been incredibly invested in preserving that base, more so now.
I have to say the politics of what he did yesterday actually makes some sense.
But not to Mitch McConnell, they don't.
Well, I want to get to McConnell. I mean, I will say the politics make sense, but remember, it's politics being played with 800,000 people who aren't going to get paychecks.
Right, the politics, I actually think that's a huge problem, and the politics also could make more sense if he hadn't said all these other things before. He tends to say these things as if no one's going to remember what was said 5 minutes ago or tweeted 5 minutes ago or 5 days ago or 5 months ago, and that's not how government works.
And I just want to read you, because this is the other aspect that's fascinating that Allison brings up, which is that Mitch McConnell's not totally on his side here or right now. Mitch McConnell's really upset with the president this morning. And the president's leaning on Mitch McConnell in a tweet just moments ago.
And rebranding.
And totally.
Listen, rebranding alert. Listen to this.
Dramatic reading.
Go.
Senator Mitch McConnell should fight for the wall and border security as hard as he fought for anything. He will need Democrat votes, but as shown in the House, good things happen. If enough Democrats don't vote, it will be a Democrat shutdown.
Ding, 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 ding.
House Republicans were great yesterday.
Remember when it was going to be the Trump shutdown?
Right. I mean, this is what I mean about, acting as if what you said before doesn't matter. He said during an Oval Office meeting that he would gladly own a shutdown, and I think his supporters took him at his word, which is why he had a problem earlier this week. Look, McConnell is frustrated with the president. We know he's very unhappy about Mattis's resignation. McConnell's been unhappy before, and it hasn't necessarily